Hello, internet friends. Welcome back once again. Thanks for joining me today. What you're going to be watching here are the last two sessions from my week 9, I believe, of the training, where I had 4 sets of 6 on my squats at 445 pounds. So continuing that reset that we started at the beginning of the week, and also some bench pressing on the second day and some pause deadlifts again, bringing the weights down with the exception of the first set that I did on day 6, where Eric and Hanny have given me a little bit of freedom to push the envelope a little bit more, not even really push the envelope, but put some more weight on the bar for my pressing. They have me doing a triple at an 8 RPE before I'm doing my percentage work, so it does allow me to go up a little bit heavier if need be, or be a little bit lighter because it's working within that rate of perceived exertion. But today what I want to talk about is the way that your expectations can affect your viewpoint. They can affect your perception on how something is going, and how you can take one situation that in a different context, the same exact thing could be happening, but in a different context, your view of it could be completely different. And I'm going to relate it directly to these workouts that you're going to see, but it could be applied to so many other different areas in your life. So in the context of these workouts, I am going to freely admit something that I kind of mentioned earlier and that has kind of been going around. People are starting to realize that the perceptions they have of others on social media are highly controlled. You're very rarely seeing somebody, I guess, in their natural habitat, as it were, even if it seems like you are, even if it feels like the person's really relatable and really opened up to you, and that you just kind of get them and it feels really transparent. Personally, I have been trying to do my best to keep that there, but it also is different. There is that kind of barrier between what you want people to see you like and the way that you're able to put yourself out there in the world. And that's one of the reasons that I'm really adamant about at least saying it, because I'm not always the best at showing it, but I am so much further from being a perfect, ideal human being than I would like to be, or than many people, or at least a few people, may believe. And that carries through in so many areas of my life, but it also is important to note on some of these workouts. These reps were looking pretty decent. These working sets were, if you're just looking at them visually, they don't seem all that bad. And it's a reset. The weight is much lighter than what I was working with at the end of my last training block, but these felt kind of difficult. And my expectation for this day shaped my perception in a negative way. I had a higher expectation for myself. These were all going to feel super easy because the weight's lighter, because it's a reset week, and I should be feeling great, and everything should be going awesome all throughout, right? Well, I went in with kind of that expectation, and so when it didn't feel amazing, my perception shifted to a negative place. And it's important to note, I think that there is a place for negativity in your life. As silly as that sounds, my buddy Izzy from Powerlifting to Win did make a video about embracing negative thoughts at times, because very rarely do positive occurrences shape our real forward progression. You need to fail to feel what it's like, so you never want to get back to there again, and it pushes you to succeed. The same idea. If you have a negative experience, most of the time that is what is going to help inspire you to grow and change and try to prevent that kind of negativity from happening. There is a place to embrace sort of those negative situations, and I was this week I've been using that as a driving force. When I get to the end of the week, my workouts have not been feeling the most excitable. Definitely have way more enjoyment on my Sunday session with my day 1 squats and bench, and my Tuesday session where I do my primary deadlift work. So when I say that maybe the perception that everyone gets is a little bit different, especially in a context where so much of our lives are are out in a public place, but only the parts that we put out there ourselves, it would be really easy for someone to assume that I'm always really stoked to go in and get a training session, even if the weights are moving well, that I'm always really excited about how that went. And that's not necessarily the case. Specifically, the rep squats and this day that you're watching right here with the bench pressing and the pause deads. I don't feel bad. I go in, usually the weights move pretty well. Usually I'm not nearly as beat up, but definitely it's towards the end of the week where some of my internal motivation to get out and start the work is a little bit more of a struggle, which is something that I never used to deal with. I never used to have that. I think that something that happens along the line is when you kind of cross that threshold of progress coming very easily, and you seeing it from workout to workout as a novice lifter or as an intermediate lifter from week to week, where you can just put weight on the bar and everything goes better and you just feel stronger every single time you go there. That doesn't last forever, and occasionally you have to improve your ability to stay motivated and stay committed when you don't see that progress, when you're looking further past the right now and that instant gratification. You have to shift your focus more towards, what am I doing in the long run? The same reason that I've had a couple of struggles personally with my own motivation, where I'll ask Eric and Hanny almost every week, hey, can I do a plus set on some of my deadlifts? Because there's this part of me that really wants to just test that. I want to test and make sure everything's going well, and they keep telling me, no, trust it, and I keep saying, I would say the same thing to my own clients, to my own athletes, and it's true, you have to trust it, but it doesn't mean that you can't go through those times of doubt and have it be a totally normal, acceptable experience. It's all right to have times, even in a good portion of your life, where you have some negative thoughts of thinking like, am I doing this right? People always say, never doubt yourself, never question the process, never second guess yourself. That's not realistic. You have to look at the process as something that's going to involve those. And if you're so uncomfortable even opening yourself up to sort of an internal cross-examination of what it is that you're doing, then maybe you do need to reassess what you're doing. And so I've kind of had a few of those, come to the river moments and think about what you're doing and reassess why it is the way that you're choosing to do it. Why are you choosing to do this? Why are you motivated to go back and do this thing that doesn't always feel the best, that you're not always super excited to start? And that's one of the reasons that you need to really focus on enjoying being content with who you are, being content with your process and your progress, and not comparing yourself to other people, but constantly looking to get better, constantly looking at that further down the road point and say, that's what I'm trying to get to. And even if I'm not feeling super motivated right now, even if I'm not hitting PRs every single time I go in the gym, even if I go in with an expectation that everything's going to feel easy and feel smooth because it should, and it doesn't necessarily match up to what that expectation is, don't allow that to completely and totally control your perception. Think about where you're at now. Think about where you were at the very start, before you had any kind of understanding of what your expectations could be. Look at how far you have come. If you're just starting, remember this moment. Remember this moment in your life, this moment in time, and know that once you get further down the road, once you get closer and closer to your goals, you can always look back on this, and there will always be a time where you say, man, that's where I was with no understanding, and now I'm here. I can't wait until I get this much further down the road and I can look back at this time and have the same response. This is where I'm coming from, and there's so much more out there for me to pursue. So thank you guys for listening and joining me today. I really do appreciate your continued support and your patience every time I put one of these videos out. It's something that I really enjoy doing. I just wish that I had the ability to do it more often. I think in the near future, I'm saying this officially because I want to be motivated to do it, and if I say it out loud, then I have a much higher chance of actually doing it. I do want to kind of put together a programming series to just discuss some basic programming. I get a lot of questions about how I go about doing programming, my understanding of it, how they can go about getting a basic understanding of how to set up programs for themselves. And there is a lot of research, but it is kind of tough to sit through some of it. So maybe some sort of summarized or condensed version of some of the sources that I really cite as being very credible and sort of necessary and foundational to do that. We'll see how it goes. But if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments below. It definitely will encourage me to get on that and stay on top of it. So I hope you're all doing well wherever you're at, and I will have another video up to you very soon. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.